Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Transfer Show Live. First Transfer Show Live of this summer. And I still think that this is the biggest summer in recent history for Southampton. Well, certainly as far back as I can remember, this is a massive, massive summer for our football club. So much that must be done right. So much business to do. There's going to be so much to cover. And that's why I'm going to be doing these shows regularly. There will at least be one live a week, which I'm going to do every Sunday. Same time, 7:30. And then during the week, there will be a Wednesday show. And if there's any stories in and around it as well, I will cover everything. So the Saints FC transfer show on the Football Martin channel will be your go-to show on YouTube for all things Southampton. I will cover everything. So who is in the live? Let's have a look and see who's live. There's loads of people tuning in live. Thank you for joining, Martin. Hope you're all well. Jeffrey Bennett, you're in as well, my friend. Hope you're well. Not seen you for a long time. Paul, great to have you here tuning in live. If you're watching on catch up, make sure you do get involved in the comments box below on the catch up and give us all your thoughts to everything that we cover. Right, what do we have? Right, Tadic. We will start with Tadic. That is a story that's been doing the rounds, hasn't it? Tadic. It was when would it? Maybe midweek last week. I've not really covered it, to be honest, because I don't see a great deal in it, to be quite honest. The Tadic story. I don't see this one happening. I just think he's too old. 36, isn't he? Tadic now. I think he's probably way past his best, without any doubt. He's 36 now. It was reported that we were interested in Dušan Tadić. But when the Echo contacted the club last week, they said they didn't know what they were on about. They kind of played it down that there was nothing in it at all. However, the strange thing was the club and their social media team are so teasing, aren't they? Because they did a tweet because Ed Chamberlain was in the show. When was the show that they put out there? They do the show, the early door show. Ed Chamberlain was with Matt Letizia and Tom Deacon. And he was talking about favourite moments and Saints, and he mentioned Dušan Tadić and how much he loved him, and the club did put a tweet out about it as well. So yeah, they had to do that. I think they did it on purpose just to kind of tease us all, really, to be quite honest with you. But I'm not convinced that we will see Tadić at Southampton. I just don't see that return happening. I'm going to find that tweet for you. And I'm going to pop it up on the screen for you. So this was the tweet that the club put up on the X feed, I think it was. Dušan will be forever in my heart, said Ed Chamberlain. Sports presenter Ed Chamberlain shares his favourite Saints memories. That was his first win as working at Sky Sports. But yeah, absolutely teasing the fan base with that. Do you think the same, or am I just kind of reading into that a little bit wrong? But that's my thoughts to it. I don't see Dušan Tadić coming back to Southampton Football Club anytime soon. Give me all your thoughts in the comments box below. The Saints Network have gifted 5 memberships. Guys, thank you very much indeed. And I finished just before 8 o'clock. And at 8 o'clock this evening, the Saints Network are live with their Keep, Sell or Loan. So make sure you tune into that. It will be a really good show. I will be tuning in to that one without any doubt. So that's at 8 o'clock. I'll be finished long before then as well. But over the next 25 minutes, I'm going to try and cover everything I possibly can that's been spoken about, and we will debate it all, and you can have a conversation about it. So the first story is around Dušan Tadić. Would you take him back at Southampton? 36 years old. He's a free agent, but would you want him back at Southampton? I just think he's a little bit past it. I don't see him being that caliber of player that we are looking for right now. I may be totally wrong, but I just think we're going to go for younger, more sort of with sort of some players that we can sell on. That's what we do. Though I do believe that we do need experience. Like, I've always been a firm believer that you have to mix youth with experience. I don't think you can solely go for just having youth. You have to mix it up. But what I will do is, there's loads of you in the live watching. Thank you very much for tuning in. What I will do is I will bring your comments in so you're a part of the show as well. So as we go, I will debate a few bits with you as well. If you're not subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel. An absolute must, because you'll be first to get all my exclusive content over the summer. all the transfer shows. I've got a really, really good show video that I'm putting together at the moment. I'm not going to give too much away, but it's really, really good. It's really, really good fun. And I think you'll really enjoy it. It'd be a great summer watch for any single one of you that enjoys the Southampton content. I've got so much coming your way. I've got some good ideas for the summer, but you need to be subscribed because you will be first to know of anything that I put out here on the Football Martin channel. I will cover. There's one bit of club news that I might drop in, but it's a rumor really. But someone put it in the chat, so I will cover that in a minute. So Dušan Tadić is the first story. I don't think he'll come back for love nor money. That's just my opinion. Another player that's probably we're going to talk about players leaving now, but a player that I feel probably will leave this summer is Kamaldeen Sulemana. It looks like FC Nantes are back in for him this summer. They come in for him, I think, maybe January time, and they tried to sign him. They're coming back with a second attempt to try and get him in. So that remains to be seen. I think he'd go. I think he will 100% go. I think you need to free up money now. We'll talk about some of the big names that will be sold in a minute. But for me, I think Kamaldeen will go. I don't see where he fits next year. He frustrates me a lot as a player. I spoke about him a lot on the channel. I like him. I think he's a decent person. But in terms of like his final product is really, really poor for a professional footballer, in my opinion. I just don't think he's anywhere near good enough. We will come on to the bigger stories as the show goes on. But Kamaldeen Sulemana, I think he will go. And it looks like he could be off to FC Nantes. But we'll see. We will see on that one. Right. Another bit of news, just drifting from Saints a little bit. But Everton did activate that €15 million option to buy Charlie Alcaraz from the Flamengo. He really impressed, by the way, when he was at Everton. The Everton fans that I met at Goodison Park the other week said he was absolutely tremendous. Really bought into the city. Shows a lot of love for the club. And he works really hard on the field. As well. So 15 million that they've paid for him, 3 million in add-ons as a part of the package. But I'm pleased for Alcaraz. Whether he can do it into the second season, now he's got that contract, you've got to really kick on there. And some players can let their foot off the gas when they're trying to get a contract. I think we've seen that at Southampton. Certainly sort of going out of the Championship into the Premier League, I think we saw that quite a bit. But I'm pleased for him. I like Alcaraz. I think he's a top guy. I think he could have been really useful in our side, in my opinion. Right, talking about another player that was signed at the same time as Kamaldeen is Paul Nuachu. Transport, I read today, they're accelerating their talks with Saints now. They want to agree a deal of around €5 million. He's only got a year left on his contract with Saints, and his valuation's obviously dropped a lot over the last year because he's kind of entering that final year of his contract. But they were probably going to demand around 10 million a year ago. They're never going to get that for Nuachu. He's only scored 4 goals in 11 starts. You wouldn't say that he's literally ripped the Premier League to bits, is he? He's not. Look, he's a good. I spoke about him a lot on the show. I like him, but I just don't think he's a good enough footballer, in my opinion. I went for a stage and I was like, maybe I'm being a bit harsh on him, and a lot of people were really harsh on him. But I just think maybe after seeing him for like a 12-month window. But yeah, so since this time last year, pre-season, into this season, so sort of over the last year, I don't think I've seen enough for him to say that I think he's our future. I still feel Ross Stewart is our future in terms of one of our main strikers. I think we need to add to him. I think we need a striker. Someone said in the chat a minute ago, and I'll go back through the chat in a minute. Absolutely correct. We 100% need a striker. Who that will be, I don't know, but we will see. We will see. I want to talk about a player coming back to Southampton next season and whether you think he's going to fit. I think he will play a role next season. And I've been reading the responses to this tweet and Instagram post that's been put out by Sam Adozi. He had a really, really good time over in Anderlecht. Sounds like he's enjoyed his time. He has thanked everybody at Anderlecht for his time there. He said it was an incredible club. It's everything that he wanted. He just wanted to say thank you for making him feel at home from day one. He said it's been a season that he'll never forget. But there's a lot of love for him. There's a lot of love for him. He done really well. He had a really good time there, and I think he made the most out of his loan move. Yeah, it was a drop down going to the Belgium second division, but I think he has a big part to play next season. For me, I think he will be a key player for Southampton. Will Sam Edozie? Give me your thoughts to that. Is Sam Edozie a player that you see being in your starting 11 next year? I think he has a big part to play. I will come to everything in the chat at the back end of the show, so make sure you stay tuned to the end. I've seen there's a few questions come in. Somebody's mentioned about Joe Aribo. Someone said to me about Adam Armstrong. I will answer it all at the end of the show for you. Absolutely no problems at all. I'm going to go over it and answer as much as I possibly can. So Sam Edozie, for me, will play a key role next season. I think he would have grown up a bit. Good bit of time away as well. To go away from home like that, it's a big thing to do. So fair play to him. A lot of credit to him to going off and going to Belgium like that. A big move for him. Right, talking about bigger name Southampton players now. Newcastle United, they are continuing their interest in Aaron Ramsdale. He has a release clause that's reported of around £25 million. I'm led to believe actually that it's a little bit lower than that. The club, they paid like 15 million plus add-ons. I think you'll see him go for around 15 million, actually. I think it'd be closer to 15 million it'd go for. They're saying the release clause is 25 million. I believe that it was what Saints paid for him. He is on around about £120,000 a week. And there was another story yesterday coming out of West Ham from a very, very good source at West Ham who leaks transfer news. And they were saying that Aaron Ramsdale is of interest at West Ham United, but they were looking at a loan with maybe an option to buy him. So that got me thinking, if Saints don't really need the cash, which I think they probably do, but if they didn't need the cash, would you loan him and then bring him back if we get back to the Premier League and then sell him next summer? It's an option. I may be barking up the total wrong tree, but it was just a thought. But West Ham interested, Newcastle interested as well. I don't see him going to Newcastle for some reason. I think that's a big move. You know, a long way away from the South Coast. You'd have to uproot his family. It's a big thing to do for any footballer. I think we all take it for granted a little bit. As a footballer, as footballers, they have to. It's like us, you know, in our job, we just, you know, you live in Southampton, you go off and do your job in Southampton. Really, you might commute into London, but when you've got a family, you got 3 kids, dogs, nice house, you're earning loads of money. You might have to take all the kids out of school and uproot everyone and go to Newcastle. It's a big thing to do. Though they're paid a lot of money, they're still human beings. They still have kids, still have families to think about. So I think that all needs to be thought about for him, and that's what's making me think his Newcastle maybe. I think it would end up at Chelsea personally. I think it would end up at Chelsea. That's my thoughts on it. When we talk about West Ham, think about Danny Ings a couple of days ago. I reckon he will end up at Wrexham, by the way. I did read that the other day. Loads of money, Wrexham. I bet you he ends up at Wrexham. He will not end up at Saints, I don't think. But a few people keep asking me, oh yeah, well, where do you think he's going to end up? Where's he going to end up? And that's my thoughts on it, for what it's worth. Right, next story on the transfer show this Sunday evening, the 1st of June. Transfer window opened today. It's open for 10 days. So it's opened up until the Club World Cup, and then it shuts to the 16th, and then it opens right the way through to September. So it's gonna be busy. I don't think we'll see loads of movement at Saints within the next sort of 10 days. We've already got one player in. Joshua Kwazi's in. We know that. Do we see players going out? I'd be interested to see who you think's the first player to leave Saints. I don't think it'd be the next story that I'm going to cover, but this one was out today. Tottenham are closing it in on a deal for Tyler Dibling. Sky Sports have reported this as well. Spurs are reluctant, though, to pay the 55 million that Southampton want, but they are confident of striking a deal, according to the sources, of around 40 to 45 million. I think if Saints get 40 to 45 million for Tyler Dibling, I think they'll be doing very, very well. That's my gut feeling on it. Give me your thoughts in the comments box below. 55 million. I think his value, and I've said it loads of times on this show, I think it maybe dropped between January and now, because I don't think he had a good enough second half of the season. He's just not at it. For loads of reasons, maybe managerial-wise, maybe confidence, I don't know. He's a real luxury player. I'd love to keep him next year, but I did say on my show I did last week on Wednesday, If it's between him and Fernandes, who would I keep? I'd keep Fernandes over Dibbling. That's my opinion. I would keep him all day long. But that's the story that's come out today. Tottenham are closing it in on a deal for Tyler Dibbling. There's been a few reporters going on a few of the Spurs content creator podcasts. That's one thing that I've noticed. There's a lot of reporters going on club podcasts and they're leaking bits of story now, because I think maybe with the change at Sky Sports News and stuff, a lot of these reporters are using like club outlets as well, because some of the the fan creators have got fairly big outlets and they're getting some really good exclusives. And I saw I think it was the Lost for Words, whatever the podcast was called. There was a good journalist on there and he had spoke about this deal as well around Tyler Dibbling. I bet it doesn't happen till later on in the window, but if Saints get 55 million for him, I will be very, very, very surprised. Give me your thoughts to that in the comments box below as well. So Tyler Dibbling, they reckon Spurs are confident of 40 to 45 million will get them Tyler Dibbling to the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Give me all your thoughts in the comments box below. We'll come to all your comments very, very shortly. I'll tell you what we might do, actually. We'll break to the comments now because there's loads and loads of you in the live. And then I'll come back to a bit more transfer news in a minute. So we'll go through a few more stories. We'll grab a few of your comments. John's in the live. Thank you for tuning in, John. Fernandes is the great player. Oh, he's a great player. I saw this story today as well, Zach, around Broja. Mate, he's really struggled with injuries. I'd be really, really cautious of bringing him in at this moment in time. Wouldn't be my number one target. I think he's got a long, long way to go. I totally agree with this comment as well from Andrew. Aribo will be sold his last year of his contract. Bednarek is my bet for the first player to leave. I've got a story on him shortly. We'll come to that. Armstrong is interesting as not a winger. I'm not sure where Adam Armstrong sits. I was in a room the other day with a lot of people and they're all quite close. And I was under the impression he wasn't that keen to come back. How true that is, I don't know. But I'm not overly sure he's that keen to come back. I think it's a big hunger thing with Adam Armstrong. He's got that hunger to come back and try and do it. I think he'll look for a move. Any chance we sell Dibbling and get him back on loan? Yeah, that could be an option. I think that's a really good option, Martin. I totally agree with you on that one. I reckon you're spot on. Luke's talking about Dibbling as well. I reckon he stays. No, I don't, Luke. I don't think he stays. Chelsea move didn't work out. This is such further on in his career, though. He's at a stage now where he's going to be craving to play in the Premier League and get on a bench. This is different to a bit of youth team football. I think his dad will be behind him, pushing him as well. There's no doubt about that. Vardy and Ings at Wrexham, I totally agree, Paul. I think that you're spot on the job with that. You're spot on the job with that one. Struggers, thank you for joining. Ramsdale said that he wants to be at a club that will let him play football just like we did. So he'd go to a club that will do that for him. Yeah, he will. Absolutely. And the World Cup is next summer in America. So he will be looking to get first team football in the Premier League. He never, ever, ever play for Saints in the Championship. Definitely need a new keeper ASAP. I agree on that. Bazunu's had that operation as well, which is a worry. I've just seen quite a funny comment in here. I think we're all cringe at this one. We need Ali Newsy back. Massive wind up there. Absolutely, we don't. But he's done well where he's gone. I see that they won some silverware this year. Paul's in as well. We are definitely going straight back up. Pompey will get relegated. Big year for Pompey. They're going to need to keep their manager. For me, I think he's done really, really well, John Messino. Big year he had last year with a limited budget. And they had a League One squad and he kept them up. I think the derby will be epic next year. I'm really, really looking forward to it. Archer might go. Yeah, they tried to get rid of him. Or the club tried to, the manager at the time, Ivan Juric, he wanted rid of him in the last window. It depends what this manager wants to do. What formation does Steele play? We will cover that in another video. I think Martin's there with that. What will Steele favour? Be a back four. Don't think it's a back three, really. But he plays some interesting systems. There's some really good, really, really good podcasts out there right now. Paul also said earlier on in the live, Brereton, Diaz and Armstrong I don't want back. I don't want Brereton, Diaz back. I'm not sure on Armstrong. I'm really, really torn on that one. Right, thank you all for your comments. It's great. I'll come back to a few more at the back end of this show. Fraser Forster is leaving Spurs. Yeah, there was a retain list somewhere, actually. I might be able to pop it up, actually, if I can find it in a second. But there was a list of players from Premier League clubs that were out of contract that have been released by their clubs. Fraser Forster was one of those. There's a few goalkeepers out there, whether you take him or not. Fraser Forster is a good goalkeeper when he's fit. There's no doubt about that. He's a top keeper. I think Saints go younger, though. I just think they will go younger when it comes to bringing in a goalkeeper. But I think a goalkeeper is really important, especially with Ramsdale going. Alex McCarthy done really, typical Saints. He done really well, didn't he, Alex McCarthy? When you look back at that playoff time, he come in, didn't he, back into that season when Gav got injured. I think it was against Preston, wasn't it, in the warm-up? He done all right, and then he was out of contract that summer. So what do? We go and give him another contract when he'd just been no part of us. He done a job, but he didn't need another contract. I just don't see Alex McCarthy being our future. That I think he's a bit of a, I don't know. He looks like quite a cool character. He's not that bothered by it all. Do you know what I mean? I think we just need someone that's hungry, athletic. There's some good goalkeepers out there. We will talk about goalkeepers at some stage, and we'll go through it, who's available and who we could potentially bring in, because I think it will be really, really interesting. I do quite like this comment, actually. Follows in the dozy on the wing, says Cameron. I like that. I really like that, Cameron. I think he's a great player, Fellows. A really, really, really good winger. I think he'd be really interesting if Saints did go down that road. Right, back to my stories now. Then we'll come to your comments at the end of the show. I do enjoy doing this live show. If you're not subscribed and you're just tuning in, make sure you do go subscribe to the channel. You'll be first to know of any transfer news. I will cover all the incomings, all the outgoings, the kit launches. We will cover that as well, and we will come on to the kit launch in a little bit, but we will cover all of it here on the Football Mind channel. So make sure you stay tuned. I spoke about Paul Onuachu and Transport earlier on in the show. Along with Onuachu, they're also looking at two other Southampton players. They're looking at Jan Bednarek and Armel Bella-Kotchap. I mentioned that in my show on Wednesday. I think Bednarek's the first one out the door. I think he'll end up at Roma, personally. They come in for him in January. I think that's where he ends up. But he will leave. I think Bednarek will be the first one out the door. That's my feeling. I think he'd be the first one gone. He's been a good servant to the club, and Bednarek this is, and he done well to recover after the comments he made when he went off to Villa, and he come back, didn't get any game time at Villa. He spoke about them being a bigger club and all this stuff. And look, and he did all right when he come back, but he's still been a part of 2 9-0 defeats. He was in our side that got relegated for half of it the last time round, and he's been a big part of a lot of defeats this year. I just think it's time to move forward. I think it's time to move forward. I'm not convinced he's the future. That's my thoughts on it. I might be totally wrong in that. Jack Stevens, I believe, has 1 year on his contract left. Do you think, as Saints fans, he stays next season? Do you want to see him as the captain next season in the Championship? I will be really, really interested in that one. So get in the comments box on that one. Albert Grombeck has gone back as well. His loan ended, so he's gone back. What a terrible signing Albert Grombeck was, by the way. Absolutely dreadful signing. Taylor Harwood-Bellis to Burnley was a story. Yeah, I saw that one. Someone just put that in the comments box below. Yeah, I don't see him being at Saints next year, though I don't think he's warranted enough for enough Premier League clubs to come knocking our door for him. I just don't see it. I just cannot see it. But a few people talking about Jack Stevens in the comments box below. Jack Stevens and Ryan Manning, unfortunately, will stay. Yeah, I think you're probably right with that. I do think you're quite right with that. I do. But Ronnie Edwards, I will do a feature video on him in the coming weeks. I'll get a QPR fan in to give me the scouting report on Ronnie Edwards. Ronnie Edwards will be massive for Saints next season. I think he will be a really, really important player for us. I think him and Nathan Wood could be superb. and they've also brought in the new signing as well. Look, I think it's actually quite exciting. I think it's quite exciting. I think defender wise, I'm not convinced we're going to sign any more centre backs. I just don't see it. I think we're probably where we need to be with that one. Joshua Kwasi come in as the first signing last week, young, but apparently he can travel with the ball. And someone did put on my TikTok the other day, and I totally agree. I think it's really hard to judge someone like Kwasi on YouTube videos until we see him in pre-season and get a feel for him. It's going to be hard to know if he's actually going to play a part for us next season. He looks quite young. He could easily end up getting loaned out. I don't know on Kwasi, but I believe that he will be in the first team squad from what the Echo guy is saying. Bella Kopchak will definitely leave. There's no doubt about that. He will go. St. Andy's in the chat as well. He said, I think that Jack has run his course, but who would take Jack? So he's got a year left. I think he will see it out the contract. I think you're right. I do think you're right. I think you're absolutely spot on with that. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Come into the back end of it now. I think we've covered everything I want to cover today. Another video will go out. It won't be a live one, but we'll put another one out probably Wednesday, and we'll throw in some more live content. So just make sure you subscribe to the channel and you'll be notified of when I go live, and you can watch. But I will be very interactive of all my transfer shows this year. I will get all your opinions involved as well. It's been an absolutely cracking show so far. Dušan Tadić was the main story. I don't see him coming back. I just don't see that happening. 36 years old. How many times do we go back for ex-players and it doesn't work out? Please stop going back for ex-players. I just don't like us going back for ex-players. There's no need to it. The other main story was that Tottenham are apparently close to getting Tyler Dibbling, but they want to settle on 40 to 45 million. That was the other main story. And the other one I didn't cover, but I did cover it on Wednesday on my pre-recorded show, was around Shea Charles. He had a brilliant season at Sheffield Wednesday, by the way. Most of you know that anyway. But he will be massive for Saints next season. I think he will be really, really important for us in that midfield. There's another story I was going to cover as well. I nearly forgot it before I left. There's two more stories I'm going to cover you. One more transfer story, and then one more. We're going to talk about sponsors. But talking about transfers, I was going to cover... I mentioned Adam Armstrong. I do think he'll leave. I think Armstrong will leave. The other one I heard was around Flynn Downs. The Ipswich will come back for Flynn Downs, which is an interesting one. I wanted to get your opinion on that. Would you want to see Flynn Downs remain next season at Saints, or would you be happy to see him sold? For me, I want to see him stay. I think he's got a big part to play, but I still don't like how he behaved in January. It was really unprofessional. I think he let himself down. I think a lot of Saints fans won't forget that. Right, finishing. That's the transfer chat done. This story is not being confirmed, but it was around yesterday. It was on X. I haven't been told this by anybody at the club, but apparently P&O Cruises are going to be the brand new sponsor. That is just speculation at the moment. There's no proof to that. They haven't announced it yet, but P&O, massive in the city of Southampton, bring a huge amount of money to the city of Southampton, are reportedly going to be the new main sponsor on the front of the shirt. I was told that Robert won't be the sponsor, so it's more than likely. I think that's probably the case. But I think it's good that a local company in the city of Southampton that on the front of our shirt. It's going back like Flybe all those years ago. It'd be interesting to see how it looks, though. Obviously, we're going to have a new shirt at some stage within the next sort of 6 weeks. We're probably going to see the new home shirt, away shirt, third shirt, and whatever else they try and do. Let's hope it's just a horrible patch on it, but it has potential to be really, really nice. I heard the shirts are really, really nice. Right, before we go and wrap up, it's 185 of you in. Thank you for watching live. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. Regular Sunday slot, 7:30. The transfer show live, and we will cover everything. We'll talk about everything that's been spoken about during the week, and there'll be loads of shows throughout the week as well. Russell Martin, that was a story to cover. Robert mentioned it. Downs with the experience will stay. I clicked on the wrong one there. Where was it? I saw one about Russell Martin. There it was. It was St Andy. If Russell Martin goes to Leicester, apparently that's off. It's not going to happen. Apparently he's not going there. There's a lot of talk that he's not going to go there, Russell Martin. I need to check him with a few of my mates. But apparently he's it's off. Ipswich, lowballing us again. Apparently they bid 21 million for both Flynn, Downs and Fernandez. Yeah, that would be ridiculous if they made that sort of bid. They're never getting Fernandez. Like, no chance. Someone else says Hayden, Downs needs to stay. Paul saying the same, Downs needs to stay. So everyone's with me on that. Somebody else put Downs in goal. It could be better than others, that's for sure. No Tadic, we need legs. I totally agree with that as well. I totally agree with that. I think we need players that can run, that are fast, that are pacey and athletic. That's my my gut feeling anyway. Thanks for tuning in, Trish. Really appreciate it. Very kind of you to watch along this evening. Thank you to every single one of you that's watched me live this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure to bring the Transfer Show live. Stay tuned to the Football Martin channel. I will cover it all. If you're not following me on TikTok, make sure you give me a follow on TikTok because I'm doing some lives there. I've got one tomorrow at 5 p.m. There's a lot of younger Saints fans don't watch YouTube, so I'm going to do it on TikTok as well. So another platform where I'm doing content. Enjoy the rest of your Sunday. I'll see you in another video very soon.